Last night, you woke up at 2 a.m. Maybe you remember it, maybe you don't. But somewhere between when you closed your eyes and when your alarm went off, your body did something it has been doing for 300,000 years, something your doctor never mentioned. Something your school never taught you, something that modern life has been quietly fighting against your entire life. And the reason you feel tired every single morning, despite sleeping 8 hours straight, has nothing to do with how much sleep you are getting. It has everything to do with when. Here is the thing. Your body was never designed to sleep 8 hours in one block. Not once in the entire history of the human species, until about 150 years ago, did any human on Earth sleep that way. And the evidence is not buried in some obscure lab report. It is sitting inside your body right now, running on a schedule that predates agriculture, predates language, predates everything you think of as normal human life. Your ancestor did not sleep the way you sleep. And every single night, your body is still trying to follow the original schedule, while modern life is forcing it to follow a completely different one. That 2 a.m. wake up that makes you feel broken. That is not insomnia. That is not anxiety. That is your body doing exactly what 300,000 years of evolution built it to do. And once you understand what your ancestor was doing during that window, you are never going to think about sleep the same way again. The problem with your bed, go back 50,000 years. Your ancestor is lying on the ground, not a mattress, not a pillow, the actual ground with maybe a layer of animal skin underneath if they were lucky. The temperature has dropped. The fire at the edge of camp has burned down to coals. And somewhere in the dark, just beyond the light, something is moving. Could be wind, could be a predator. Your ancestor does not know yet. In this situation, sleeping 8 hours straight is not rest. It is a death wish. Every animal on the planet becomes maximally vulnerable when it sleeps. You cannot run. You cannot fight. You cannot hear properly. Sleep is the single moment when everything that wants to eat you gets its best opportunity to do exactly that. So what did your body learn to do? It learned to never fully switch off. Researchers studying modern hunter-gatherer tribes who still live the way ancient humans lived found something that stopped the entire sleep science community cold. The Hadza people of Tanzania, the San people of the Kalahari, the Semene people of Bolivia. 3 completely separate groups living on 3 different continents with zero contact with each other, all of them sleeping the same way. Short sleep, light sleep, natural wake in the middle, sleep again. Dr. Jerome Siegel at UCLA studied the Hadza tribe specifically. He fitted them with wrist monitors tracking every movement and every sleep cycle across multiple weeks in the field. What he found demolished the 8-hour sleep myth completely. Average sleep time was 6 to 7 hours, not 8. They fell asleep later than modern city dwellers. They woke earlier, and almost all of them had a natural alertness window somewhere in the middle of the night. Not because they had insomnia, because their biology was doing exactly what it was designed to do. And here's the part that should make you stop. Your biology is doing the exact same thing right now, every single night. You have just been taught to treat it as a malfunction instead of a feature. What your brain is actually doing. Here is what is happening inside your skull every night, whether you know it or not. Your brain runs on a chemical called adenosine. From the moment you wake up every morning, your brain starts producing it. It builds slowly across every waking hour, like a tab at a bar you are not allowed to close. The longer you stay awake, the more adenosine piles up. And adenosine does one thing. It makes you feel exhausted. This is also exactly why caffeine works. Coffee does not give you energy. Coffee blocks the adenosine receptors in your brain, so your brain literally cannot read the signal that you are exhausted. You are not more awake on coffee. You are just temporarily unable to feel how tired you already are. Your body is running on empty, and your brain has been chemically convinced the gauge is broken. 4 cups in, and you are not energized. You are just successfully deceived. Alongside adenosine, your body runs a completely separate system, your circadian rhythm. a cluster of roughly 20,000 neurons packed into a region called the suprachiasmatic nucleus deep inside your hypothalamus acts as your biological clock. This structure has been running the same 24-hour cycle since before your ancestor had the ability to name it. It tracks light levels. It tracks temperature changes. It triggers melatonin release as darkness arrives. It coordinates your entire internal chemistry across the day. And it has a built-in feature that nobody told you about. Your circadian rhythm does not produce one alertness crash every 24 hours. It produces two, one at night when you fall asleep, and one in the early afternoon, which is why you feel genuinely exhausted after lunch and assume something is wrong with your diet when your body is actually requesting exactly what your ancestor gave it every single day without guilt. A short sleep, right there in the middle of the afternoon, built directly into your biology for 300,000 years. But here is where your sleep story gets genuinely strange. Your circadian rhythm also contains a built-in wake window, a natural period of lighter sleep and partial alertness embedded in the middle of your sleep cycle. For most people, this window lands somewhere between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. Your brain naturally produces less deep sleep during this period. Your core body temperature rises slightly. Neural activity increases. Your brain becomes more active, not less. Your ancestor used this window every single night. Your body still creates it every single night. Modern life just gave you nowhere to put it and then told you something was wrong with you for having it. The science that disappeared. Historian A. Roger Ekirch spent 16 years searching through documents from the pre-electric world, diaries, court records, medical texts, literature, personal letters. He was not looking for sleep evidence specifically. He found it everywhere he looked, going back 2,000 years across dozens of cultures on multiple continents. Every single source referenced the same two-phase sleep pattern, not as an unusual occurrence, as completely normal daily language that everyone understood without explanation. A physician writing in 1699 included medical instructions advising patients on how to use the time between first sleep and second sleep most productively. A court transcript from medieval France recorded a couple who explained they had conceived their child during the time between sleeps. Geoffrey Chaucer referenced characters naturally waking between sleeps in Canterbury Tales. Across centuries and cultures, the pattern appeared in the documents as casually as references to eating breakfast. And then one invention erased all of it. Thomas Edison demonstrated a working incandescent light bulb in 1879. Within 50 years, artificial light had spread across every major city in the industrialized world. Suddenly, night was no longer dark. Work hours extended. Social hours extended. The pressure to stay awake longer pushed bedtimes later and later. And the two-period sleep pattern that had structured human nights for thousands of years collapsed into a single compressed block. The two-sleep pattern did not disappear because science discovered it was wrong. It disappeared because electricity made it commercially inconvenient, and your body never received the update. Psychiatrist Thomas Wehr at the National Institute of Mental Health decided to test this directly in 1992. He recruited healthy adults with no existing sleep complaints. He removed all artificial light from their environment for weeks. Only natural daylight during waking hours. Complete darkness for 14 hours every night. Within a few weeks, every single participant independently shifted to the same pattern. They fell asleep, slept 3 to 4 hours, woke naturally for 1 to 2 hours in a state of calm, relaxed alertness, then fell back asleep for another 3 to 4 hours. Every participant, same pattern, no instruction, no suggestion. Their bodies simply remembered what modern life had trained them to forget. What was happening in that window here is what your ancestor's body was actually doing during that middle of the night wake window. And this is where it gets biochemically strange. During the natural wake window between first and second sleep, researcher Russell Foster at the University of Oxford documented that the human body produces a significant spike in prolactin. Prolactin is a hormone most people associate with breastfeeding, but it does something else entirely in this context. It creates a state of deep, calm, non-anxious alertness, clear thinking without stress activation, a kind of biochemical quiet that the waking brain almost never experiences during the day. This is not a coincidence. This is a feature. Your ancestor woke into a body flooded with a hormone specifically designed to make them calm, reflective, and mentally clear. The danger of full darkness had passed. The chaos of the day was over. The fire was still going. The camp was quiet. And for 1 to 2 hours every single night, their brain was running on a chemistry that modern humans access almost exclusively through meditation retreats, controlled breathing exercises, or pharmaceutical intervention. Your ancestor got it for free every night, built directly into their biology. Ekirch's historical research confirmed that people across cultures specifically used this window for the things that require that kind of mental state: reflection, prayer, conversations with their partner that the noise of the day made impossible, analysis of dreams from first sleep, planning, creative thinking. Medieval writers describe the thoughts that came during this window as unusually clear and meaningful in a way that daytime thinking rarely was. Your body is still producing that prolactin spike every single night, still creating that biochemical window of calm, clear thinking, still waking you up at 2 a.m. and offering you 2 hours of the clearest mental state your body is capable of producing. And you are lying there in the dark, panicking about the fact that you are awake. What modern life did to you. Here is what happens in your body when you treat that natural wake window as a malfunction. You wake up at 2 a.m. Your first response is anxiety. Your cortisol levels spike because you have learned to treat wakefulness at this hour as a threat. Your sympathetic nervous system activates. Your heart rate increases slightly. Your brain enters problem-solving mode, trying urgently to figure out how to get back to sleep, which is exactly the wrong instruction to give a brain that is naturally moving toward alertness. The harder you try to sleep, the more awake you become. The more awake you become, the more anxious you get about being awake. The more anxious you get, the higher your cortisol climbs, and cortisol is the single most effective chemical your body produces for destroying sleep quality. Sleep researchers call this sleep anxiety, and sleep anxiety creates a feedback loop that is almost impossible to break from inside the loop. You lie there for 2 hours, getting progressively more activated. You finally fall asleep 1 hour before your alarm. You wake up genuinely exhausted. You assume you have insomnia. You see a doctor. You receive medication that suppresses the very wake window your body has been trying to give you, and the cycle continues. Dr. Kenneth Wright at the University of Colorado Sleep Laboratory studied what happens when people stop fighting their natural wake window and instead treat it as a normal part of sleep rather than a symptom of disorder. Participants who were instructed to get up when they woke naturally, avoid bright light and screens, sit quietly, and allow their minds to do whatever they naturally wanted to do during that window reported dramatically improved overall sleep quality within weeks. Not because they slept more total hours, because they stopped poisoning the hours they were awake with anxiety. The practical instruction is simpler than any sleep medication. When you wake at 2 a.m., do not reach for your phone. Do not turn on lights. Get up if staying in bed makes you anxious. Sit quietly in dim light. Let your brain run. Give it 20 to 30 minutes. Then return to bed when your body signals it is ready. You are not broken. You are ancient. And ancient systems do not update on a 150-year timeline just because modern life changed the commercial schedule. The landing. You started tonight, lying in bed, trying to sleep 8 hours hours straight and feeling like something was wrong with you when it did not work perfectly. Here's the truth you are leaving with. The 8-hour single block sleep is not natural. It is not ancient. It is not what 300,000 years of human evolution built your body to do. It is a product of the electric light bulb and the industrial work schedule, roughly 150 years old, and your biology has never accepted it as the default. Your ancestors slept in 2 pieces every single night, woke between them into a body flooded with prolactin, a hormone engineered specifically to make them calm, clear, and present. Use that window for the kinds of conversation and thought that the noise of the day made impossible, then returned to sleep when their body was ready. They did this every night in a world 1,000 times more dangerous than yours, with predators outside the camp and no guarantee of tomorrow, and they slept better than you do. The next time you wake up at 2 a.m., your ancestor is not haunting you. Your body is not malfunctioning. Your biology is doing precisely what it was designed and refined across hundreds of thousands of years to do. It is offering you the same prolactin window it offered every human who came before you. 2 hours. Every night. The clearest thinking your body is capable of producing. You have the same 2 hours. You have been spending them panicking. If this made you think differently about your 2 a.m. wake-up, subscribe, because next week we are going to look at something else your ancestor did every single day that modern medicine spent 100 years telling you was dangerous before quietly admitting they were wrong. And when you find out what it is, you are going to be furious about how much time you lost avoiding it. Comment below. Do you wake up in the middle of the night? What time? Because I am willing to bet most of you are landing inside the exact same 90-minute window your ancestor used 50,000 years ago. Let me see the times.